And there's nothing worse than going to work every single day, bringing home a paycheck, and finding out 2, 3, 4 years later, you look back and you have nothing to show for it. But if you can say, like, yeah, I took this amazing trip and, I upgraded my apartment. We ended up getting a car in the city that we're now, able to pay for parking. Thinking about those things that you care about is actually where it all begins.
Who the f*** am I to tell you what to do with your money?
My name is Priya Malani, currently managing millions of hardworking dollars. Enough foreplay. Let's talk
Money.
Welcome to the F word. Smart money.
No bull.
Hey guys, welcome back to the F word, the podcast for high-achieving 30-somethings who are ready to stop guessing and start getting serious about their money. If you've ever said something like, I make good money, but I don't know where it goes, or I feel like I should be further along, or I'm just not good with money, this episode is for you. Because here's the truth. You're not bad with money, you've just never had a system. You think you have a system. I promise you, you don't, but I'm going to give you one today. All right, let's unpack that, and you're going to see what finally changes when you do have a system in place. It's going to change your life. I want to start by talking about the fact that financial literacy does not equal financial clarity. There is more information out there than ever. There are more financial apps on the marketplace than ever. There is so much out there to help us get our financial shit together, and yet the financial health of this country is not good. For those of you out there who are binging financial content because you just got promoted and you're ready to take your money seriously, and you're on TikTok and you're downloading the apps and you're researching backdoor Roth conversions, I'm not going to stop you, and that is great. Do your research. As a high achiever, that makes a lot of sense. Everything else you've conquered in life has been well served by more information, by learning, by knowledge. It makes sense. And I'm sure that as a high performer, you assume being good with money means you know how to manage it. So you've got to learn. And that's where you're starting. But the problem is that no matter how much content you consume, usually we find that it leads to more confusion, more questions than it does the clarity, the confidence, and the ability to actually take next steps and move forward with your finances and really feel confident to know how to manage them. But with money, it doesn't really work that way, right? I'll give you a real quote from someone who came to us. They said, I've never felt stupid in my life until I tried to understand what to do with my money. That's exhausting, right? You're crushing it in all these other aspects of your life. Why does money seem so hard to conquer? Why does it feel like no matter how much information you have, you don't have clarity about how to best to manage it? And this problem tends to be even worse with high achievers. I find that they struggle the most. Your MO is that you've been rewarded basically your whole life for figuring things out on your own. Money feels messy, it feels personal, and you've got conflicting advice on TikTok, your finance bros, your parents, you feel overwhelmed. You try to seek out answers, and yet you feel more confused and more unclear about how to move forward. I'll tell you a common pattern. We see people who come to us with solid salaries, really no problem paying their bills. They're not feeling tight. They can live the lifestyle that they want to live. The key that's missing, though, is that there's no big picture strategy. It's simply day to day. And the result of that is them feeling, I thought I was doing everything right, but I still feel behind. So let's fix this. You're a high achiever, but it's time to put an end to your struggle with money management. So I'm going to tell you what you're missing. Said it once, I'll say it again. You're not missing more information. What you're actually missing is a system. Enter reverse budgeting. At Stash Wealth, we don't believe in budgeting. We don't think it works. We think it's not really what you want. We've seen too many people struggle with budgets and end up giving up. And part of that is because budgets, they just don't work. They're designed to fail. Why are they designed to fail? They're designed to fail because life is unpredictable and the concept of a budget is very rigid, right? You create these predefined limits in various categories of life, whether that's travel or going out to eat or your rent or your life insurance premium or your car payment or concert tickets. So now you've got this spending limit, and then life throws you a curveball. So reverse budgeting. This is by far my favorite place to start with money management if you're brand new or you want just a simple system to get you started to actually start feeling in control of your money, the reverse budget. So how does it work? So you start by taking your take-home pay, which is a number I find a lot of people know about, like their life. If I asked you, like, how much do you bring home every month or even like every paycheck, you should know that number. So what you bring home in a month is your take-home pay. And instead of starting to bucket out, okay, here's how much I can spend on this and how much I'll spend on this and how much I'll spend on that, stop and back up. I want you to start by thinking about what you want to accomplish in the near future. Okay, so not like tomorrow, not next week, not even next month, but like a few months out or at the end of the year or next year. What do you want to be able to say you can do, experience, buy? So I'll give you some examples. I want to spend $12,000 a year on travel. That's something that's important to me. I want to be able to tip my doorman at the holidays. I want to be able to buy gifts at the holidays. I usually treat my family and myself. But what I find happens to most people is that's a very common goal. And most of us don't plan for it. The holidays roll around, we throw everything on our credit card, and then we're like, okay, who's paying for this? Well, if you know it's going to happen, we can plan for it. So, okay, backing up. Take home pay. Decide what you want to spend on in the near-ish future. And set up a plan, set up a system, an automated system that allows you to get on track for those things. So if I want to have $12,000 a year to travel every year, then I need to put away $1,000 per month, $500 per paycheck. Doesn't matter if you want to do it twice a month or automate it once a month, so that money is waiting for you when you're ready for it. If I want to book a trip, I can look at my travel account and say, oh gosh, okay, I have $5,000 built up there. And I can actually go enjoy spending that money on travel guilt-free. Hey, quick gut check. If everyone around you is buying houses, upgrading jobs, or investing confidently and you're still winging it with your money, go to stashwealth.com and let's fix it before another year slips by. And I'm going to exit stage left. Okay, so I've only given you a few pieces of the reverse budget. You start by looking at your take-home pay. You then get clear on your goals. What are the things you actually want to accomplish? And you figure out how much you need to put away every paycheck or every month to be on track for that. What's left over, that's your lifestyle. That's what's left for you to live your day-to-day. We call it your magic number. It's the most you can spend on your lifestyle month to month and not wreck the things that you're so excited to be able to do in the future. If you want to be able to do these things and not put them on a credit card and not go into credit card debt, there's only one way. Plan for it in advance. Now, we see high earners with all kinds of magic numbers. It's not like once you hit $300,000, your magic number should be 10 grand a month. We see people who are making $300,000 with 10 grand magic number. We see people who are making $300,000 with a 7 grand magic number or a 15 grand magic number. It's about figuring out what else is important to you besides living life day to day and make sure you're on track for it. What's left is what you can actually blow month to month down to zero, guilt-free. Now, if you're not happy with your magic number, if you look at it and think like, I can't live my life on that, that's not enough. Well, there are only two things that you can do. You now have a lot more clarity on how much more you need to earn to be able to afford that lifestyle, right? Otherwise, you're living a lifestyle you can't afford. Or you might have to adjust when you want to accomplish a certain goal or how much you can spend on a goal. So maybe I can't spend $12,000 a year on travel. I can spend $9,000 a year on travel. But now you have a tool. And there's nothing worse than going to work every single day, bringing home a paycheck and finding out 2, 3, 4 years later, you look back and you have nothing to show for it. But if you can say like, yeah, I took this amazing trip and, I upgraded my apartment. We ended up getting a car in the city that we're now, able to pay for parking. Thinking about those things that you care about is actually where it all begins. So if you're not happy with your magic number, you now either have a lot more clarity to know, okay, I need $3,000, $4,000 more every single month to live the lifestyle I want and be on track with the things I care about. And or you now know how to adjust the timeline or the amounts of the things you want to accomplish. So, maybe you want to go to your friend's bachelor party in Lagos next spring. and you're like, okay, that's going to cost me 10 grand. But wouldn't it be so cool if I could upgrade my flight and if I could rent a boat for all the guys? And okay, well, like now maybe you need 15,000. And you can back into how much to save today to be on track for that. And if you're living your life like that already, and you're spending what you want to spend on the things that you care about in the moment, it's going to be really hard for you to make incremental progress and build wealth, like real wealth. So I'm starting by talking about like the near-term goals that you want to think about, but then comes the midterm goals and then comes the long-term goals. Obviously, we're all at least thinking about retirement, if not planning for it. But the best way to get on track for building wealth and having something to show for the money that you work hard for is thinking about it in advance, planning for it. Maybe that sounds boring, but the pain point I'm trying to solve for here is feeling like you're bad with money, because that's not a thing. Nobody's bad with money. You just haven't taken the time to think about what you care about and put a system in place. Once you have a system in place, it's like you have permission to spend without the anxiety, right? No Monday morning money hangover. I used to have that. We go out on the weekends, you look at your credit card on Monday and you're like, crap. And I've already talked about it a little bit, but let's talk about what happens when you actually have a system. Well, for one, you can finally stop asking yourself, like, can I really afford this? Should I really do this? What are the trade-offs? Will I compromise the things I care about down the road? Retirement, early retirement, sabbatical, quitting my job, starting a consultancy, upgrading my travel, maybe moving out of a renting situation, buying a house, or maybe upgrading your apartment. There's so many things that you want to be able to do. And when you feel like you're bad with money, it really just means you don't have a system to put yourself on track for those things. Well, you can't put yourself on track for anything until you know what those things are. But once you finally have a system, it's so much clearer what you can afford, how much you can spend on day to day, and what the trade-offs are. Midterm, long term, but also the short term. What kind of lifestyle can you actually afford? And even more importantly, you can actually enjoy spending your money because it's now aligned with your bigger picture, right? You know when to say yes and when to say no without spiraling. The system doesn't just create structure. It actually creates the freedom, the clarity, the confidence that everyone is after when it comes to smart money management. I don't want you to knock it down before you give it a shot, because I have been through this exercise with so many people where they'll be like, yeah, no, there's never going to be any money left over. Like, even if I reverse engineer it, there's no money left over. That happens when you're not clear about your values, your priorities, and your goals. As soon as you put your goals in place and prioritize them and, okay, this is important, I want to do this, the cash, I always say it's math, not magic, but it is magic. The money appears. And now you can spend your money guilt-free. So if you've ever felt that you're not good with money, let this be your reminder. You're not broken. You're just long overdue for a system. I would love for you to send this episode to a friend who always says that they need to get their finances together. And if you aren't already liking, subscribing, commenting, we're so excited and so grateful for the support we've seen. And we want to take this show to the sky. Please support us. I'm going to do everything I can to help 30-somethings maximize their money so that they can manage it with confidence, clarity, and achieve that financial freedom. If you're not already following us, please hit follow below. We've got a lot more good stuff headed your way, and I don't want you to miss it. Thank you for listening to The F Word. All right, see you next time. Thanks for listening to The F Word with Priya Malani. If you like what you heard, hit subscribe wherever you're listening and leave us a review while you're at it. We're approval junkies. Don't forget, you can find a ton of great resources, content, courses, and other freebies at stashwealth.com. Now, for the capital S stuff our lawyers want us to say. Stash Wealth is a registered investment advisor. Content presented is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to make an offer or solicitation for any specific securities, product, service, or strategy. Consult with a qualified investment advisor, that's us, before implementing any strategy. Investing involves risk, including the loss of principal. Past performance does not guarantee future results. There, we said it.
Did I have that up?